In a quiet, sunlit village surrounded by hills, lived an old man named Raymond. His hair had turned silver with age, his hands were worn from time, and his back bent slightly from years of labor. But every morning, without fail, Raymond walked to a barren stretch of land just outside the village, and planted a tree. He dug patiently, despite his aching body, his trembling hands steady with purpose. To outsiders, it may have seemed strange. Why would an old man, clearly past his prime, spend his final years planting trees he'd never lived to see grow? One morning, a curious little boy named Ayan approached him. "Baba," he asked innocently, "why do you keep planting these trees? You're so old. By the time they grow, you won't even be here." Raymond paused, smiled gently, and looked at the boy with kind eyes. "Because, Beta," he said softly, "I'm not planting them for me." Ayan tilted his head, confused. Raymond chuckled and continued, "When I was your age, I played under the shade of trees I never planted. I ate fruits I never sowed. Someone, long before me, planted them, so I could dream in their shade. Now, it's my turn." Seasons passed. Years changed. And Raymond, through rain and scorching sun, never missed a single day. People in the village began to mock him. "You'll be gone before those trees even grow." They laughed. But Raymond never responded. He simply kept digging, kept planting, and quietly whispered to the soil, "One day, someone will need this." Then, one day, the planting stopped. Raymond had passed away, peacefully, without a word, like a sunset that fades into the hills. The land where he once walked stood still. His absence was louder than his presence had ever been. But the trees? They remembered. Decades later, Ayan, now a grown man, returned to that same place. He stood in awe. Where once there was barren earth, now stood a forest. Towering trees, their branches dancing in the breeze, offered shade to children playing, families resting, and birds nesting. In the heart of the grove stood a wooden bench, carved with a simple inscription, "Planted with love, for the ones I'll never meet." Raymond. Ayan sat down on the bench, his eyes filling with tears. He looked up at the canopy above and whispered, "You were right, Baba. Someone did." And that is the true legacy of Raymond. A man who chose to leave behind something beautiful, not for recognition, but out of pure love for those who would come after him. He understood something many forget, that the most powerful acts are often the quietest ones, done with no expectation of reward. What he planted with his hands, he sowed with his heart. In a world obsessed with instant results, choose patience. In a time where everyone wants to be seen, choose to serve in silence. Your actions, however small they seem today, may one day become someone else's reason to hope, to breathe, to dream. Plant the seeds of kindness, of purpose, and of love, and trust that they will grow, even if you're not around to see it. Because the most beautiful stories are the ones we write for others.